Hello there mates, it's your boy Kwe, and today I got a brand new video. We are reacting to 5 most painful deaths behind bars by Echoes. I'll leave the original link to this video down in the description, and let's get straight into the damn video, dude.
They drove prison guards to throw a man with a mental disorder into a freezing cell.
Into a freezing cell.
Prison napalm.
Oh no.
Why did a mass escape turn into a deadly trap beneath the
What?
prison? And these are only 3 of 5 stories about the most painful deaths behind bars.
Okay.
But, as always, viewer discretion is advised.
What the? Why did both of my phones just turn on at the same time?
Inside the Tafo Pankrono holding cell in Kumasi, one man ruled the room. His name was Awudu Abdullahi.
Okay.
Heavy built, covered in old fight scars, and known for having
that boy is swole.
Steel. No one in that cell dared challenge him. But that morning, a newcomer appeared among them. It was Jafaro Boak.
Jafaro Boak.
With the confused look of someone who still hadn't grasped where he had ended up. It was his first day behind bars, and he knew nothing about the one rule that mattered most. Every patch of space belonged to someone. So when he lay down on Abdullah's bed,
what country is this?
I
wasn't paying attention.
Abdullahi walked up to the bed and told him to get up in a calm, firm voice. But the newcomer, exhausted from a night of arrest and questioning, didn't move. Boak woke up in the air. Abdullah's hands ripped him off the bed and slammed him onto the floor. Abdullahi hovered over him while his fists landed on ribs, face, chest. The newcomer tried to fight back, but the brute pushed forward like a tank. His vision blurred and panic rose.
Nigga got his ass fucked up. Fuck around and find out, nigga.
Sharply, grabbed Abdullahi by the thigh and sank his teeth into his groin. The big man screamed. Pain shot through his...
Into his balls? Nah. What?
That his legs buckled.
Oh.
Boak clamped his jaw even harder like a pit bull. Blood burst
no.
across his face, and the men
No
who
way.
had never seen anything like it stepped back.
He popped his ball like a balloon.
To the concrete, clutching himself.
He popped his balls like a balloon, bro.
He groaned, losing strength.
No, like a gusher. Pop that shit like a gusher.
He was breathing in short, broken gasps, blood running down his chin, his hands trembling from the adrenaline. The cell went silent. On the floor lay what was left of Abdullah's balls of steel, his severed testicles. The crash of metal doors snapped everyone out of it. Guards stormed in and froze for a moment, trying to make sense of the scene. 2 of them ran to Abdullahi. His face was gray, his eyes unfocused, his body shaking. He didn't react to pressure on the wound, only twitched in spasms. The others grabbed Boak and dragged him to isolation. A few minutes later, the guards brought Abdullahi to the medics and rushed him to the hospital, where he remained in critical condition. To this,
why was it severed up? This nigga was munching on them. Nah.
Today, it is still unknown whether he survived. Boak received several more years for causing grievous bodily harm. And no matter how long he spends behind bars, it is unlikely anyone will try to push him off a bed again.
Yeah, facts. No way. No one's fucking with him.
Guards had stepped in sooner. But in the next story, the people who were
I know everybody was traumatized. They had to be. What?
At 35, Anthony Tony Mitchell from Alabama. Years with a severe
we home Alabama.
Fear and delusional episodes. In the weeks before his arrest, his condition worsened sharply. Living alone, he stopped leaving the house, barely ate, and was terrified of people he believed were following him. On the morning of January 12th, 2023, his relatives arrived and saw Tony barefoot in the living room, pale, shaking, and gripping a shotgun like a man bracing for something only he could see. They called the sheriff's office, hoping he would be taken to a hospital. But when deputies arrived, Tony began shouting and firing into the air instead of receiving medical care. He was restrained and taken to the Walker County Jail because armed individuals were isolated first under procedure, even if they were mentally ill. Inside the jail, they brought him to a cell known as BK5. It was a room where new arrivals waited for their paperwork, Its cold air conditioning system was intentionally kept at near freezing levels to cool down inmates who were agitated or difficult to control. That's why the staff called it the freezer.
The
The temperature
freezer.
inside that concrete box
Must
dropped
be
to
cold
about
as hell.
5 degrees Celsius, almost as cold as the winter air outside in Alabama. Most detainees spent only a few
Alabama
hours
is not
in
that cold, bro.
BK5, but Tony arrived
It's
in
right next to
severe mental
Georgia.
crisis, and
And
no
I've
one
been
even
there a
tried
couple
to help
times.
him.
Cook
Instead
in
of
the
treatment,
cold.
guards kept placing him in that freezing
In the
room,
winter.
taking him out and bringing him back again.
Oh my
In
God.
their eyes, he wasn't behaving.
They probably froze him to death.
Sometimes they left him in there naked for an entire
Oh
day.
nah.
The cold and stress only worsened his condition. For the staff, BK5
Oh.
became the easiest way to get him out of sight. Later, during the federal investigation,
That's
one
fucked
officer
up.
admitted, "We let him freeze because no one wanted to deal with him." On January
What?
24th, after 5 straight days of
That's
being
so
kept in the holding
fucked.
cell,
5.
Tony could no longer stand. He crawled across the concrete, trying to find
He
even
needs
a
help.
trace of warmth. The guards
He
decided
needs
had become too
medical
troublesome.
help.
Their reports later used the phrase
What?
to prevent self-harm. In reality, it was punishment.
Y'all were doing
They
that
dragged him
harm,
out
bro.
of BK5 and moved him into an industrial walk-in
No
freezer
way.
used to
Okay,
store
now
meat and
y'all are trying to
vegetables.
kill him.
Inside, the
There,
air
y'all are
stayed
trying to
between
kill
1
that
and
man,
3
bro.
degrees Celsius.
Oh
They
my
strapped him
God.
into a metal restraint chair. Normal inmates stayed in for a few hours, but Tony
What?
remained there for a full day.
Nah.
His skin burned with cold, and each breath felt like a
And he-
gulp of ice.
Is that's
His
real
arms and
footage?
legs
He's so
turned
skinny.
pale. His body shook in convulsions.
Yo, what? Do y'all see how skinny he is? What?
His arms and legs
Look at
turned
that.
pale.
Oh my God. He a twig, nigga.
His body shook
Yo.
in convulsions, yet no one loosened the straps. On the
What?
morning of January 26th, 2023, guards found him lying motionless on the floor of
Bruh.
BK5. His
He's
lips
dead,
blue.
bro.
They dragged him to a patrol car and
Y'all
placed him
done
in the
killed
back
the
seat.
man. Y'all done
Then
lot.
Walker Baptist
Nah.
Medical Center, doctors measured his temperature. Instead of the normal 36.6 degrees, it had fallen to a deadly 22.2. He
Y'all
took
done
only
killed
a
the
few
man.
breaths a minute, and his heart beat less than 30 times in that same time. Bruises
What?
from the straps marked his body.
And that was
Blood
definitely,
visible on his
yo, and the crazy thing about it, that was definitely very slow and agonizing, bro. That's
Doctors
fucked.
gave him warmed fluids and placed him on a ventilator, but 3 hours later, his heart stopped. The report stated, death by hypothermia caused by conditions of confinement.
Oh, he was still alive during that.
Claimed that the inmate had been
What?
conscious, but jail video showed him lying motionless while staff walked past him. After that, the case went to the
What?
FBI. 10 employees, including senior staff and medical personnel,
Good.
were fired
Good.
and charged with abuse.
Good. As they
The Mitchell
should.
family filed
As
a
they
lawsuit
should.
and called his death a freezer execution.
Right.
They later reached a confidential settlement in federal court.
Millions.
The amount was never disclosed.
Hundreds of
The case
thousands
forced
of,
the state to
or
reconsider
millions,
how
bro.
inmates with
No
mental
way.
illnesses are held. Tony's cousin said, "We asked for help, and they killed him with cold." Tony Mitchell became a victim of the freezing air that drained
Dang,
the life
look
out
at
of
him. Look at
And
him.
another
He
inmate
looked
could only dream
so much
of
older
a
than
moment of cool
in those
airflow.
videos, bro. That's so fucked. Que
The summer of
stress.
2011 in Texas became one of the hottest in decades. The air over Dallas
Oh, let me
shimmered
guess.
with
He
heat,
burned.
and the asphalt
Or
softened
he
under the
overheated.
sun. It was then that 58-year-old taxi driver from Waco, Larry Gene McCollum, made
Waco.
a desperate choice. He walked into a bank with a forged check for
Aw,
$350,
man.
hoping to get the money.
He's
in
trying to
keys right before he
finesse
was
him.
evicted. But the teller
He's trying to
noticed the
finesse the
signature
bank,
didn't match
guys.
the one in the bank system and pressed the alarm button.
Aw,
Police
shit.
arrived within minutes. The court took into account his clean record and cooperation, so Larry received only 11 months in jail. Not so
Damn.
bad, right? Or at least that's what Larry thought. On July 15th, he arrived at Hutchins State
Oh,
Jail
and he
near
died in
Dallas.
jail.
Guards
Should have
greeted
never
new
forged that
inmates with
check,
the words,
bruh.
"Welcome to hell."
Oh.
And it wasn't an exaggeration.
Oh
The
my
unair
God.
conditioned cells heated
Top
to
Flight
45
standing up
degrees
there.
Celsius. The metal
Y'all seen,
bunks
hold on, y'all
burned
seen
as
Top
air-
Flight?
Welcome to
Y'all
hell.
seen Top
And
Flight? That ain't even Top Flight. That boy a trooper cut. That nigga certified. You stamp. Look at the way he holding that. Looking down at the camera. I think he top dog, ain't he?
Isn't an exaggeration. The unair conditioned cells heated to
Oh.
45 degrees Celsius. The metal bunks burned the
113
skin, and old fans
degrees
pushed hot air into
Fahrenheit.
service. For Larry,
Did
who
y'all
had
see that?
hypertension and kidney disease, the heat
Oh,
became a
yeah,
brutal
he's
test.
dead.
To buy water or
He
a
was
fan,
definitely gonna
he
die.
needed an ID card, and newcomers waited weeks for it. So he drank from a metal sink where hot technical water burned his lips. He found a plastic lid on the floor and used it as a cup. And to cool himself, he placed
Bro,
wet clothes on
what?
his chest. Night brought no relief. The concrete stored the day's heat and never cooled. Larry
Nah,
couldn't sleep.
I can't do
his
that.
body burning and his heart
I can't.
racing. Cellmates later said he kept asking for water, but the guards only laughed. Within days, red patches covered
That's
his
so
skin.
fucked
He
up,
lost
dude.
balance, and his eyes turned cloudy. On July 22nd, his 7th day in the jail, he didn't get up for the
2011.
count.
Wow.
Guards walked to the cell
I
and
was
found
10.
him convulsing on the bunk. Medics measured his body temperature at more than 42 degrees Celsius.
107
critical brain
Fahrenheit.
damage. They took him to
Oh my
Parkland
God.
Memorial Hospital in a coma. And even then, absurdly, they cuffed him to the bed.
What?
After 6 days, on July 28th,
That's crazy, bro.
Larry's heart stopped. He never again regained consciousness. The
R.I.P.
investigation showed Larry's death wasn't an accident. That year, more than
Nah,
10
it was
inmates
not.
died from heat in
Wow.
Texas prisons. And each time, the administration listed the cause as natural. The McCollum family filed a lawsuit
That's
against
fucked.
the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. The court ruled that officials had consciously disregarded the lives of inmates and ordered them to pay the family $905,000 in compensation. Yet, what was their job? The case finally pushed the state to start installing air
Payback's a bitch. But that, I mean, even still, that money ain't gonna bring him back, though. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna bring him back, bro. Y'all fucked up for that, bro.
conditioning in its
Fucked
prisons. Larry's daughter, Stephanie Kingery, said he was supposed to serve 11 months, but he ended up with a death sentence.
Right.
This was
Literally.
just a taxi driver
That's
who
crazy.
made one mistake. But even the cold-blooded killer from the next story didn't deserve what happened to him. Though, you could decide for yourself when I present the facts.
The
There are
Thanksgiving
many ways to
escape.
cause unbearable pain inside a prison. But one of the worst looks almost like a kitchen recipe. A mix of boiling water and sugar that turns into a sticky mess. It clings to the skin, holds heat far longer than water, and burns
Yo.
deeper each second. In prison slang, this mixture is called napalm. No one knows whether our young inmate, let's call him John, knew that recipe. But in early September 2013, he already had more than enough trouble. He was only 24, yet he had a long trail of thefts, robberies, assaults, and had been in and out of prison more than once. But that year, John made the biggest mistake of his life. At the end of July, during an argument on the N81 near Dublin, he pulled out a sawed-off shotgun and fired at another car. The bullet shattered the side window and hit the passenger seat where a 16-year-old girl was sitting. She died instantly. For this recklessness, impulsive violence, the court sentenced him to 20 years in Mountjoy Prison in Dublin. But for
Wait, what
many,
did he
that
do?
sentence
I'm sorry. I was
died
checking this.
instantly and hit the passenger seat where a 16-year-old girl was sitting.
Oh,
She
wait,
died
what?
instantly. Passenger
Wait, so wait, what exactly
during an
happened?
argument on the N81 near Dublin, he
Yo,
pulled out a
what?
sawed-off shotgun and fired at another car. The bullet shattered the side window and hit the passenger seat where a 16-year-old girl was sitting. She died instantly. For this recklessness, impulsive violence, the court
What?
sentenced him to 20 years in Mountjoy Prison.
No.
But for many, that sentence wasn't enough. Someone soon offered $13,000 for his
Dang,
killing.
they didn't put a
Inside
bounty
the
on his
prison,
head. A bounty on his head.
inmates came after
Yo.
him, and each time he barely
dropped something.
survived. Eventually, John was moved to protection block, where he finally exhaled.
They don't put a bounty on that boy head.
Late one evening, as the block settled for the night, 3 cellmates
No.
rested in the half-dark. When John climbed down from his bunk, the other 2 rushed him. One knocked him to the floor, and the other pinned him down. As he struggled, one of the attackers grabbed a kettle where water mixed with sugar had been boiling minutes earlier, supposedly
Nah.
for tea. He tilted it, and the napalm poured onto John's face, over his eyes,
Yee.
nose, and cheeks. John screamed, but the next wave hit his mouth and throat. The
Ooh.
boiling mixture burned the lining instantly and scorched his skin, leaving it
Ooh.
blistered and white. The smell of burned flesh filled the room, and the scream from the cell turned into a raw gasp.
Oh,
The guards
nah.
ran toward the screams, but
What?
the sight in the cell made their stomachs turn. The man on the floor no longer
Yo,
looked human. The skin on
how
his
hot
face
was
peeled
that
away in
damn
strips,
water?
his ears and cheeks sagged from the burns, and his eyes were half shut under a milky haze. He gasped for breath through swollen lips. They carried him into the corridor, wrapped him in a sheet, and called the medics. At the Meagher
What?
Hospital burn unit, doctors confirmed deep second and third degree
Oh
burns
my
to his
God.
face, chest, and mouth. They said there was no way to restore his face.
Oh
One
my
guard later
God.
said John looked like a living zombie. He spent more than a week in the hospital. When John returned, everyone looked away.
He
The
survived?
staff put him in a protective cell
What?
23 hours a day, and a few months later they transferred him to another prison. Far
He
from those still
survived?
hoping to claim
Wait,
the
no.
reward on his head.
But
Presumably, John
it
lived
still
on,
says it's a
forever
death.
mutilated for his violent actions. So what do you
Damn.
think? Did he really deserve such brutal, non-judicial revenge? Let me know in the
Damn.
comments. Our last story could have been a Shawshank Redemption in
He
real
definitely
life,
could have
but
died.
instead turned into horror.
Case 5. The
It was
Thanksgiving
Thanksgiving,
Escape.
November 26th, 1994. And coincidentally, the legendary prison escape movie released in theaters just a
Shawshank
month
Redemption.
prior. At the Darrington unit in Texas, the day felt quiet, almost calm. The guard staff was reduced because many had gone home for the holiday. But not
Saw it.
everyone inside was enjoying the break. Among the hundreds of inmates were a few who were trusted a little more. They were assigned to cleaning and repair work in the service areas. They saw the narrow concrete tunnels under the building, lined with pipes, wires, and old ventilation shafts. Down there, everything was dust, noise, and darkness. But one thing stood out. There was no cameras.
No
Looking at the old
Bammers.
electrical panels,
No
one of them
Bammers. How
noted
the there
that
ain't no
if the
Bammers in
lights go out,
2025?
controls go
I don't
with
even
them.
know what year this
That night,
was
the 8
in.
of them were on a late shift, while the rest of the block was asleep. They stayed in the service corridor. Someone removed the cover of an old electrical panel, reached into the bundle of wires, and forced them together. A sharp crack followed in the
bad.
next second, and the entire building went dark. Backup power triggered the emergency alarm, but the guards had no idea.
Wait, what
had
even
caused
happened? Hold
forced them
on.
together.
I started TikTok dancing. My bad.
Out. There was no cameras. Looking at the old electrical panels,
Wait, what exactly is he trying to do?
trusted a little more. They were assigned to cleaning and repair work in the service areas. They saw the narrow
okay.
concrete tunnels under the building, lined with pipes, wires, and old ventilation shafts. Down there, everything was dust, noise, and darkness. But one thing stood out. There was no cameras. Looking at the old electrical panels, one of them noted that if the lights go out, controls go with them. That night, the 8 of them were on a late shift, while the rest of the block was asleep.
They done gave the prisoners too much access, bro. That's what happens, man.
Reached into the bundle of wires and
Damn.
forced them together. A sharp crack followed in the next second, and the entire building went dark.
Damn.
Backup power triggered the emergency alarm, but the guards had no idea what had caused it. Meanwhile, below them, the inmates opened the damaged service latches they had prepared earlier and began to descend into the technical tunnel. The 8 men moved forward in the dim light, convinced that they were walking toward freedom. Little did they know that the tunnels beneath the unit were not a path out. One of them, feeling the walls for direction, touched an exposed wire. A sharp flash lit the space, and he collapsed instantly. Another tried to help, but the current passed through him too. And both lay still on the floor. The others kept pushing ahead, stumbling over pipes.
Well, dumbass
Soon
for
one fell
touching
straight
him.
through an open shaft, leaving behind only the sound of metal echoing below.
What?
2 more became stuck in a ventilation duct where the space was so tight the air barely moved. They began to suffocate, calling for help, but the tunnel was too narrow for anyone to reach them. When the power finally came back on, the guards understood what had happened.
These niggas literally escaped to their doom, to their death. You can't, what? You can't make this up.
Concrete shafts below lay bodies, burned, broken,
No
wedged
way.
between pipes. Those who survived sat on the floor, pale
Oh,
and
there were
shocked.
survivors.
Their
Oh
arms
yeah,
wrapped around
it was
their
8 of
knees,
them.
as if still unsure it was over. No Shawshank Redemption for them. The official report listed 5 dead.
Wow.
The journalists mentioned as many as 8. To quote one guard, "I have never heard so much screaming in the dark." Because of that night, the Darrington unit earned its reputation as one of the toughest prisons in Texas. But as we can see, any prison can turn into its own Squid Game,
crazy,
where you never know which step will lead to a painful end. So now, which of these stories struck you the most? Tell us in the comments and share whether you think there should be
I
better
think that
control
face
over what
burn
happens
one,
inside
bro.
prisons.
But he
And do
survived.
inmates
I
deserve
ain't
those
even gonna
unofficial
lie.
punishments in addition to legal ones?
Wow.
As always, thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next story.
Well, that was it for this video, y'all. Please leave a like, comment down below what y'all want to see me react to next. And yeah, I love y'all. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Y'all see the button, it's free, you know. It's just, you know. All right, but I'm gone. Love y'all. Bye.